Hello everyone, I am tarot.egyept.
He's different.
The topic I will announce to you today is,
will
he come back to you? Calm your heart. Here's Group D. Quietly sense the youth in the second and third sets of cards. The color corresponds to the above. Which pattern represents the answer? Choose it based on your first instinct and double click on the layout to strengthen the link with it. The prediction will be more accurate. You can put the corresponding 1 to 2.3 in the comments after you choose. Let's look at the first group of cards. Will he actively come back to you, no matter what's the current emotional state of you two? Let's draw the first random draw. The first card, the second card. In chapter 3 actually, in this card, I will feel that there is not only a problem in emotion, but also a problem in reality. The result is that the person on your flank, he is a very, very, very real person, right? Either frugal or focusing on reality, or he really encounters some difficulties in his life. For instance, in terms of work, in terms of career, facing this kind of job swapping or going somewhere, etc. So in this reality, he considers more practical factors, and he has a certain emotional connection with you. He thinks it's difficult to last for a long time, and he also feels that it's hard for you to be with him through trials and tribulations. So actually, in his heart, he doubts your approval or trust because maybe in your daily interactions or some past experiences, you gave the other party. The feeling is that it is difficult for you to stabilize him, and it is difficult to give his back to you. He will have this feeling. And this group of cards, this earth sign and this fire sign, height is very important. Either it's on your side or his. For example, there is this Aries or Leo, or say that kind. The energy of Capricorn or Taurus or Virgo is heavier, so most likely the babies who are watching the video are either you or him. And let's get back to the point. As I mentioned earlier, this person is pragmatic, so when dealing with your feelings, you'll find they don't have that kind of emotion. But he might just create one. Even if this relationship ends or leaves, it might have a huge impact on him. He will show this strong side, or say from a positive side, either in front of you or even in front of his friends and family. But actually, I think the fundamental reason in his heart is not that there's a problem with your relationship. It's that he thinks going on with you is actually a thing. The effort of particularly great to tyrant. Moreover, as I just said, one aspect is the reality. Another might be external obstacles, like you are in a triangle relationship, right? You have to consider the third person and the influence of others. Or it might be that you two have objections from both sides in this relationship. Or it's a long-distance relationship, or the age gap is quite large. This type of situation is that they regret a lot of this kind of experience when they think about continuing with you. The energy may have done a lot of things, but the result may not necessarily achieve what he thinks. There is still a sense of disappointment. So between these two cards, he will have a kind of, since this emotional relationship is so hard, then I might as well go forward, right? I might as well start a new life at least. Not so many obstacles, at least me. Looking forward, I can see the road ahead. And for you, it feels like a distant and relentless obstacle. So the first group of cards, the babies, is whether he will look back for you. I think he might think that looking back for you requires him to overcome a lot of things. Adjust yourself to maximize this motivation. Then you might get this drive. The current state might be a kind of divergence, a kind of distance, right? Away from you, wherever you are, he might avoid, he might distance, he might keep a distance. I think the problem is not between you guys, but has something to do with your relationship. The external or the internal conflicts between you two make him think it's hard to continue with you and stabilize this relationship in reality. So this pair, let's first put out a suggestion card, and then I'll tell everyone how to deal with it after it's out. Don't let him influence you. So, this relationship has already had a big impact on you. Try not to be too influenced by this person, okay? Let me continue talking about this relationship. Combining this with the child, let me introduce you. You're not emotionless, but you need to make him change. It's hard to continue with his feelings for you. It's hard to last long. This is what you call the obstacle between you, or the thought that affects his energy. You have to find a way to change him. Only if he is impacted, he may turn back. Otherwise, his idea is ingrained. Where does he have the motivation to turn back, especially in the opposite direction? So this is the first set of cards. Don't look at Street Fire. Although Street Fire is not good, we need to think about how to solve this problem. Now you know his thoughts. Now we are how to change it. Affect it. Let philosophy and technique between you and... It's not that difficult. Analyzing a you is not that difficult. There aren't that many obstacles. Okay, this is the first set of cards. If you want to know more about his thoughts and your future development, you can analyze it one by one. This is the first set of cards. Let's see what cards you guys will draw from this second set. Will it come back to you on its own? Draw at random the first card, the second card. Thirdly, there is a strong triangular relationship. Or we can say that it's between you both. The influence or intervention of a friend as a third party in our relationship. Or to put it another way, if other opposite sex affects your feelings, there must be other factors involved. The third party's influence on your relationship, especially on him, is not because of these tests, right? I will feel that there must be such a person around him, but such a person, his thoughts. I think his thoughts are not so simple, and they are more evil or this kind. The yin energy is quite heavy, the power of yin, the things of yin, they are those in the more hidden places, those little people, or this kind of... He must have someone around him who is making some sneaky moves behind his back. I'm not sure if it's his friends, parents, or other people of the opposite sex who are influencing him. So his entire mood now is greatly influenced by the people around him, right? He is actually a very assertive person with his own ideas and decisiveness, but now his mood and thoughts are greatly influenced by that person. But I believe you should know who I'm talking about, since you can draw this group of cards. It must correspond to your situation. Although it's a general test, it can't be applied to everyone, but since you happen to click on this video, it's definitely for your energy. I can practice a few, and then in this film, there will be some issues between you due to some financial problems, some practical and material issues. This kind of quarrel is good, or it's a fuss. This kind of discord and stability is okay, right? For example, between the two of you, there is a marital relationship. Because there are other people around him, it caused your relationship and your family to break up. Treat all your British money matters as matters, and then go constantly intentional. You keep struggling, keep finding a reason. You might have found that he has a steady partner if you were his lover. You yourself have put in a lot, or say he's also spent some money on you. You can't make clear of your money relationship, right? The current quarrel can be said to be fearless and virtuous. This emotional relationship is now between two people, right? It may all be about money. It's all about some practical things, like what you bought me, what I bought you, right? The feeling of having to be accounted for. Is this one going to turn back in judging the case? You say he's in this state. I think at least for now, the likelihood of him turning back is not great. Why? Because his emotions have been out of control, and the people around him have a big influence. Then there is one kind of the two of them just don't want to come back. The two of them are very stiff. He will feel as if this relationship you haven't even yet. He might think that you still have a shred of expectation for him, even if you have given up on him. But he might think you have no thoughts of him anymore. But he has no one to talk to about this idea. The people around him can't say it. Maybe you can't say it either. So his current state is completely devoted to him. If he has a job, he's working. If he has a business, he's fully invested in it. If he's a student, right, he's shifting focus, going to school, playing, studying with classmates. So he is now focusing more on the things he is doing. In terms of the situation, try your best to not let these emotions affect you. Also, the traits of the earth signs are quite obvious in these cards, so this person is actually quite practical. Earth signs like Capricorn, Golden Butterfly Flower, and Virgo. This rising constellation or its sun constellation has some constellations. So the chances of him looking back at these three cards recently aren't great. You really need to know the reason. It's because the person next to him influences him too much, making him lose his own thoughts. Let's draw a card. not very advisable. If you say you have some ideas or things you want to do now, then these ideas you have now, these things, don't do it right now because it's unscientific. This is a reminder for you. As for matters of feelings, how you want to handle it is up to you to decide. This is the second set of cards. If you want to know his thoughts and your future development, you can come to Eddie for analysis one-on-one. This is the second set of cards. Let's see what kind of card you will draw for the third time. Will he come back to find you? Get out of the car straight. Chapter 3. In fact, what does it mean that this set of cards obviously matches the first two sets of cards? The first two sets of cards may have some realities or third parties or external ones, right? Some objective ones. Some excuses. You clearly feel that this person loves you. You can just imagine this person, he used to be considerate and meticulously treat you like a child, caring for you in the most subtle ways and dealing with many things lightly. And he also belongs to that kind of thing, like your emotions, your thoughts, right? But he can bear it, he can summon it, he can go unreservedly pay for you. But now these two cards have all changed to another one, so he will have a kind... Even if I can't let go of this feeling, even if I love you, this boy, but I can't express it and I feel like I'm holding back. The feeling of self-harming alone. Your card group is like me, belonging to the kind of inner character that is more like the negative character, such as the image constellation or this type of. Underwater work is more introverted. He is not outgoing. Many things are also not willing to announce or communicate. So the more you get to the back, you'll find that you're worried. In the end, the reason for moving towards separation or the current loss is that you will find that you want to talk to him. You want to communicate with him. I didn't say anything and he hit me. In fact, I think this has a lot to do with his own character or his life experience. It's useless to express you forcing him to say it. When he plays that card, it shows he really wants to come back to you, but he struggles mentally. So it belongs to that kind of deep hidden, the kind that people can't see through. So on this side, sometimes you will feel a kind of unable to grasp him. But the more you want to conquer him because he is very mysterious, he has a lot of these ideas and has no way to control him. But many courtiers control him. It's like a feeling of life and death, plus he used to be so good to you. Now, this person's contrast to you is so big that you feel a bit reluctant to let go. The most convenient emotion lets you towards this person. Indeed, there's a feeling of being particularly fiery now, but this person here will feel much less tired and don't need it anymore after leaving you or cutting off contact with you. It's like it's gone and there's no repetition. I've been so tolerant and caring for you, and then under great pressure, I'm very tired and weary. So, the person you tested, the separation between you, the accumulation of contradictions must have taken a long time. It's not an occasional sudden event, but it's a long-term accumulation of some problems. So the possibility of this person looking back is not particularly great, because his entire state is in a relatively passive and self-digesting process. He needs to be calm. He needs to think by himself. At this time, I do not recommend everyone to be too sensitive. Let's draw a card and see what kind of distance the first card gives you. These three words mean that your current relationship dilemma is only temporary. There will be smooth progress in the back. Everyone can rest assured. Okay, this is the third set of cards. If you have any other questions, you can find February Economic Analysis 1-on-1. This is the third set of cards.